What you have here is a standard radio configuration for any Betaflight or iNav model where channel 1, 2, 3, and 4 is aileron, elevator, throttle, and rudder, and channel 5 is your arming channel. I have SF set up on our arming channel, so if you observe channel 5, going from negative 100 to positive 100, giving the arming command, and going back. Now, what's special about this configuration is if the throttle position on channel 3 is in anything other than full down, the aircraft will not arm, despite the position of SF. That is unless you have the throttle all the way down. Observe channel 5. Throttle low, arming channel goes hot. If you'd like to skip ahead and just see how I set this up, I have timestamps below, feel free to skip ahead. Also, I apologize for the poor audio quality of my pre-arming switch video. It was really echoey. I'm trying this new DJI mini mic. So going forward, the audio should be of higher quality. Scenario for you. You're getting ready to fly your FPV quad. You have your radio powered up, you have your goggles powered up, you plug in the battery, you go to set it down, and as you set it down, all of a sudden the drone just goes from 0 to 100, jumps up, hits you square in the face, you and the drone take a tumble. So what just happened? What happened was your radio was on a lanyard around your neck, had the throttle at full, because, you know, as you bent over, the throttle is not on any type of spring detent. It rocked forward, and your shirt, your belly, something snagged your arm switch. And unlike DJI drones, there is no safety measure. The drone will do as it's commanded to do. So if it gets the arm and full throttle, full punch out command, and it's going to jump up, it's going to hit you or whatever else, and it's going to chop up anything in its way with its props. Now, Monday morning quarterbacks are going to give 50 different examples of how this specific scenario could have been avoided. But let's be honest here. There are going to be times where you're going to cut corners, and especially if you're pressed for time and you want to get airborne faster, you're going to take shortcuts. I have an EdgeTx solution that logically fixes this where your throttle has to be at 0 prior to your radio recognizing the arming command from your arming switch. So how do we go about setting this up? The easiest way I've found is to go about it using 4 logical switches. So we're going to hit Model, I'm going to page over here to Logical Switches. This first logic switch is going to be the throttle parameter, which detects that the throttle is all the way down. So this function is going to be A is less than X. Right? Variable 1 is going to be the throttle. Okay. Variable 2, now this is the parameter that detects like is lower than, right? So whenever the throttle is all the way down, it's outputting negative 100%. So theoretically, in order to trigger this switch, anything above negative 100% should theoretically set the switch off. So you could go with negative 99%. The reason I don't advise going with negative 99% is if there is any damage at all to this physical throttle switch, you're not going to be able to get the throttle below 99%, and you will not be able to arm. This switch will not highlight, it will not activate, so you will not be able to arm the aircraft. So what I would recommend you do is set it to negative 95. See, negative 95 is essentially going to give you the exact same switch action without any fear of not being able to get below this negative 95%. So this switch is working as intended. Logic switch 2 is going to be the arming command. So logic switch 2 function is going to be AND, because we have to meet 2 parameters. We have to meet the parameter of the first logic switch, and we have to meet the parameter of our arming switch, which for our purposes is SF switch, going to be in the forward position. So variable 2, SF switch forward, and let's check that switch. All right, so both are highlighted. All right, that's off. Switch it back forward, take throttle out of 0, and those are working as intended. Now logic switch 3, this isn't going to be a very clean look and I apologize. However, I will say there is another cool feature that you can do compounding off of this configuration that I'll cover in the next video. This sets you up for that success. But what this one's going to look like is going to be another function but instead of having two variables, we're just going to have one, which is going to be the parameter of SF off. All right, so there's SF back. All right, so there you see it. The switch is on. All right, and now the switch is back off, which is giving the disarm command. Now, logic switch 4 is going to be the actual digital arming switch. That's going to be the command that goes from your mixer through your outputs and out to the aircraft. So logic switch 4, in order to make this work, is going to be a sticky switch. So we're going to go to the bottom here, sticky. Variable 1 is going to be the arming command, which is logic 2. And variable 2 is going to be our disarming logic switch, which is logic switch 3. So let's give this a shot here. All right, so keep an eye. I want you to pay attention to logic switch 4 here. We're going to have it in the disarm position, throttle at 0. We're going to go to arm. So now we see logic switch 4 active, and we're going to be able to take the throttle out of 0 position so we can fly. We're flying, we're flying. All right, now we want to disarm. Switch comes off. And now the disarm command has been given, and logic switch 4 is now outputting a disarming command. Now, just to make absolutely certain that we have a disarming command going across channel 5, we're going to come over here to special functions, special function 1, trigger, and we're going to go to logical switches here. But now, instead of going logic switch 4, what we're going to do is we're going to put invert. And now we have the exclamation mark in front of it. This is anything but logic switch 4. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to override. And since we're going to put this on channel 5 arming, or roll this up to channel 5, we're going to put a value. And since this is anything other than logic switch 4 being active, we're going to go ahead and put a negative 100 on here. So we always have a negative 100 output. And enable. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to come over here to mixes, and setting up channel 5 arming, add channel, channel 5, name, we'll just call it arm. Okay, source. Okay, now this is the important part. Source is going to be logic switch 4. All right, so we're just going to take a look here at the physical position of the switch and what's being outputted on channel 5. So here we go. We're going to go arm. All right, so we went from negative 100 to positive 100. That's good resolution. We're going to take the throttle out of 0 position. So we're flying. Looks good. We're going to go disarm, and it's working as intended. Now, I would like to note, with this setup, it is still possible to disarm your aircraft at any time using the disarm switch, whether that be on the ground after you've safely landed or in midair. Depending on your use case or philosophy of use, that might be a good thing. Now, there is a very simple solution to this, and it's just a very small modification to this exact configuration that will prevent any chances of a midair disarm. If you're interested in that, I'll cover that in the next video. If you found this video helpful, please drop a like. If you want more content just like it, hit that subscribe button. This has been John Church with Rest and Rec. Take care.